So I just got a comment on one of my clips that I just did against Vecna or Lich, yeah, whatever you want to call them. I understand that they have like code names, you know, if they're like DLC or licensed killers or survivors. Like I have I'm looping him, right? Like I just made like a short version of this, and I have a guy like, whoever playing this killer is bad. Like, dude, the killer just came out. Relax, all right. For those who do not know, this is from Dungeons and Dragons. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons before ever. I don't really care to, but I do appreciate when DBD makes collaborations with other companies and games, stuff like that, because if you're from DBD, you might want to discover Dungeons and Dragons. If you're from Dungeons and Dragons, you might want to discover what DBD is like. So I just think that's pretty cool when they, you know, try to keep the game fresh and, you know, have these different killers. Like I've never heard of Vecna. I think Vecna is his original name, but I think on the game, you know, obviously they call him Lich or whatever you want to call him. But I think this killer is pretty cool. He's going against my Prestige 100 Nea, and I just think that like with this killer, I don't. To me, it's like I'm gonna compare him to Nurse in the sense that like sometimes like Nurse can fly and stuff like that like all the time, just like how this killer is doing, and is also sometimes really used to try to use pallets against Nurse because he can just blink through it, where he can actually use his spell to actually block it. In fact, he has 4 powers that he can use, right? I think it's called Mage Hands, or excuse me if I'm saying it wrong. You know, creates a magical hand that lifts down pallets or blocks it upright for 4 seconds. Flight of the Dam conjures 5 flying entities that pass through obstacles and injure survivors. Dispelling Sphere casts a moving invisible sphere that reveals survivors and temporarily disables them magic items, and also fly. He can just pretty much fly through. You can know pallets, window vaults, and stuff like that. I think this killer is pretty cool and interesting because you do have special items like magic item things you can start, you know, like the chest. You can, you know, take stuff out of there. I think it helps survivor and stuff like that. Mind you, I'm still learning this killer. I also like how the killer, first of all, let me just say this. Today is Monday. I know it's pretty late. I do appreciate that this is the first time in almost the 4 years that I've been playing this game and I don't know how, I know this game been out for almost 8 years now, that they released a chapter release on a Monday versus a Tuesday. And I'm usually working Tuesday through Saturday, so it's pretty nice that I was actually able to play against this killer, to test him out. Didn't go live, but just wanted to see how this killer is. I do think it's a bit of a problem, though. And by the way, I like this new map. I am trying to learn it, by the way. It's not a new map. It's just a rework of the Beef Wellington, whatever you want to call it. Beef something. I don't know. You know, the map with the knight. I do think that him being able to block pallets is really strong, especially like, for example, right, if you're trying to win like a 50-50 on a pallet, or let's say it's like a drop god pallet, and you know, a lot of times you be like, hey, you might want to break that pallet as the killer. Well, if he can just like pick it back up so you can't vault it, or if he can just like block it so you can't use it, and you would have been able to get like an extra distance, but because he blocks it with his hand, now it's pretty much OP. Y'all have to let me know y'all experiences. Like right here, he blocks it. Some type of, you know, like God or something just came from the top, came from the skies and just held it for him. And I didn't really get too much into his perks. You know, I'm just, like I said, I'm just trying to figure out the new killer. I'm really interested in what you guys think. Do you think that he's like S tier? I mean, my man can fly through the windows. Like, he can fly through it. And he also send like those entities and stuff like that, but just kind of act as if like he's like the Crow Mommy, which is the artist. But like, just watch what he do right here, right? Which is a very good play. He flew through it, but he kind of slowed down. I still was there, but you gotta understand, I got almost 7,000 hours into this game, so there's not gonna be too many mind games that I haven't seen in this game. But it's just, a lot of time, it's the ability. I mean, this killer isn't that fast of a killer as others, but it's just his ability pretty much makes up for it. I'm not a killer main, so I'm not really sure exactly what type of perks people try to use as far as meta. I mean, he do have, I think, an aura reading naturally that he uses, not naturally, but you know, like one of his perks, his teachables. But I just think this killer is really fun. I'm not sure if people are going to pretty much use this killer all day or every day. I'm not sure if it's going to be like a popular killer, but I do think that, like I said, again, having a killer that comes out and people might want to discover Dungeons. I heard of Dungeons and Dragons. I know it's like an old game that people have been playing for almost 50 years now. But to be able to play this and have a chapter release on a Monday, I was just really excited. But are you guys having fun in this chapter? Like, do you like the new Survivor? You know, I like the new Survivor. I like the way they move. I like the movement of it. But, you know, Survivors are pretty much just skins. I just think that, and I'll just cut it off just like this before I end the video. I think that you might want to try to practice in pre-drop just to see if it's going to work. But do keep in mind the killer can lift up pallets. So it might be like a learning curve to see what you can do against this killer. But he's pretty strong in my book. He can send out entities like the Crow. He can lift up pallets. He can block pallets. And that's not even getting to his perks. And that's not even getting to how many hours you can have as this killer. But let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys liked the video. Like, share, subscribe if you're new. If nothing else, peace.